Should we just dive into managed services? It's the only item on the agenda, but if anybody else wants to add anything, feel free. But I guess Danny and Georgi, if you guys want to take it away.
Right. First, in the agenda doc, there is a link to the proposal document that me and Gary came up with. So you could have a look at it, comment, share your thoughts generally. And on this meeting, we would like to present our internal prototype that we implemented within SAP, just to give you a feeling of the status of the prototype, what we can and what we cannot do right now. We were thinking that maybe if there is interest in the community, we can just pick the managed service bit and push it to a branch of open source Kurifi so that people can pull it and play around with it and basically just provide some feedback. It's actually going to be pretty useful because we have just tested with a single broker and we're not sure whether it's going to fix all the existing brokers out there. But without further ado, let's jump into the demo. I am going to share my screen. You should see it, I hope. Let me know whether the font size
Looks good.
is fine. Okay.
It's okay.
So first, my setup is a kind cluster that we have our prototype branch of Kurifi deployed. And first of all, I'm going to show you that we now support the marketplace command. So if I just run the marketplace, you see that there is nothing in there. And the reason for that is that we don't have any service brokers registered, which makes sense. So first thing I'm going to do is to register our SAP service broker that we use. So CF create service broker. This is the name of the broker, BTP-SM, which stands for BTP, which is an SAP platform name, business technology platform, and SM stands for service manager. That's the SAP broker. Those are the credentials full and bar. The reason is that our prototype implementation of the broker doesn't support authentication anyway, but those are stored in the secret, and this is the URL to the broker itself. So once I do this, I take some time and the broker is registered. So I can now list the brokers. You can see it's registered. And what happened under the hood is that we open K8s. We can see that we have a service broker created for us. And we have a bunch of CF service offerings, which represents the offerings from the broker, those one. And also we have a bunch of CF service plans, which represents all the plans for all the offerings from that broker. So having registered the broker, I can list the available offerings by CF service access, I think. Yeah. And you can see that we have a bunch of offerings with a bunch of plans, but if I list the marketplace now, it's going to show me that there are no service offerings. And the reason for that is that once you register the broker, all the offerings and plans are only visible to the admin. The admin has to enable them in a specific org. But if I list the marketplace with this show unavailable options, I can actually see all the offerings and all the plans that are generally available. So in order to enable a service offering in an org or make it publicly visible, I have to say CF enable service access. First, this is the name of the service. This is one of the services that we have mostly played with. Access UA is a managed service in SAP that gives you user management service to applications. what it really does is not that important. I'm just going to enable it in my demo org. So if I now list service access again, you can see that the service has limited access and it's limited to only to my demo org. And if I now run CF Marketplace without this flag, I can see that there is one offering available to me, which I can consume. So let's do this. First, I'm going to CF create service for the Access UA offering for the application plan, which I'm going to call my Access UA. When I do this, it takes some time for the service instance to be provisioned. Hopefully it's going to work. Yeah, it did. And what happened under the hood is that there is a CF service instance resource that has a status ready to true, which signals that the service has been provisioned with the broker. And what I can do now is to bind that service to an app. I have already pushed an app in my org. And if I
You can also note that, sorry, you can also note that the service is type managed, because this is the same object that we use for oopsies, but we just open it up a little bit here.
Yeah, it's no longer just user provided, it's managed. So my app is running. So if I curl its environment and get VCAP services, I can see that it's empty. And the reason is that my service is not yet bound to, my application is not yet bound to the service. So in order to bind it, CF bind service, this is the name of the application Durifi. This is name of the service that I have just created. It takes some time. Here we go. So what happens is that now we have CF service binding that's created for us. It has some stuff referencing the service instance that we want to bind to, referencing the application. And it also has a ready condition set to true here. So now, if I restage or even restart my application, and shell into the pod of the application, I can grab the actually echo VCAP services. And you can see that the VCAP services environment has been populated and it has an entry called Access UA, which is the name of the service I have bound to. And it also has some, actually, can I pipe this to JQ? Yeah, to make it prettier. It has a bunch of data, which is probably sufficient to consume the service. Under the credential stacks, I'm not sure what all those things are, but they should be sufficient to consume that service. So yeah, basically that's the demo. Maybe some of the things that we cannot support right now with our prototype. First of all, it turned out that there are a bunch of SAP services. I probably assume that that's the case for other managed services out there that require providing certain parameters, for example, your user for the service or whatever. And this you can do by providing the -c argument, which stands for JSON object. Yeah. Currently, our prototype does not support parameters for those services, but this is just because we have not implemented it yet. And the other thing is that we found out that there is a specific service in our catalog that requires that the service name matches certain regular expression. Our prototype is just using K8s, and K8s does not match that regular expression. Therefore, we can't create a service instance. We have to figure out how to call the service so that the service provider is happy. Maybe it has to be derived from the service name that you specify when you do CF create service. But yeah, this is another thing that we probably have to take care of. So yeah, that's it really. Questions, comments?
Great job.
Would you be interested to have the implementation available in Kurifi in a branch so that you can play around? Would you be interested?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
Looks really good. What about asynchronous service brokers? Is that working here yet, or?
What do you mean by asynchronous service brokers?
So
Exactly.
I think if I'm remembering right, it's been a long time since I looked at this, but the Open Service Broker API has the ability for service brokers to say, basically, ask me again later. Or, I mean, it can come back with a response that says, oh, I'm working on it.
Yeah, we have our prototype is covering this aspect, meaning that our prototype is actually implementing an OS BAPI client to OS BAPI broker. So we are taking care to always try to send requests in asynchronous manner, meaning that when you create a service, you ask the broker, please create that service asynchronously, and then it polls the broker with the status of the operation. So
actually, we can already see this in this when we show the ready states. I believe there is a state that says we requested this from the broker, and then we wait for it to be ready. So this is the async, and then we say get last operation state. I believe that was the name of the call. So yeah, I believe we do support this right now. I mean, it's a prototype, so zero lines of tests and everything, but it proves a point.
Are you just like requeuing the instance so it gets reconciled again, or is it like waiting?
So the service instance controller is just asking the broker what's the state of the service. So once the broker reports that the instance is ready, we set the ready status on the CF service instance.
I don't remember if we're requeuing the object that we're reconciling. That's a detail we can check it, I guess.
It's,
But
it's an implementation detail. But it just, I think this is a case where the controller version of this might actually be simpler than the normal Cloud Foundry one because it's like it's already set up to be an async like loop like that.
It's a retry loop, so it's pretty good for things like this. Yeah.
I think that we're queuing for 5 seconds. We just pull that number out of the thin air, but whatever.
I mean, we do plan to test this in-house with more brokers because we do have more brokers. It's very fresh right now so that we can post the proposal. But if someone is interested to play with even more brokers outside the house, yeah, we'll provide the code so that we can get the most feedback, so that we can fix more things sooner, right? Because some things might affect the proposal. Yeah, cool. That's great. I guess we'll come back to you then when we're ready extracting the open part of the code. This prototype is using a fork of Kurifi. It should be easy because we've just just forked Kurifi, added some things on top so that it supports this. So I guess we can bring the branch back to Kurifi and we'll get back to you and we can help you, set up all this. And then we'll be, great.
Very well. I'm curious, how did you solve the restart issue?
We didn't actually. I think we just left it
Okay.
for now because it's just in the
Okay.
nature of Kubernetes.
Okay.
The way we actually restart apps is a little bit out of our control because we just set, we have two revisions. One revision
Yeah.
is before the stop and after the stop semantically maybe, and then the controller just reacts to that. So the controller just kills. But actually today we started working on synchronizing this a little bit. So who knows, maybe we can solve it in the future. For now, we didn't have any complaints, although we have had some feedback from people at SAP that this might be undesirable. We thought maybe we could switch off service binding IO bindings for customers like that, but I don't even know if that's going to be an option yet. We have to query our users. So yeah, long story short, we don't know
Understood.
yet.
Okay.
Nice. Right on. No, this is cool to see. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking for this for a long time, so we're glad to actually bring something in the end. So yeah, once again, we'll be happy if you all comment on the proposal, if you play around with the thing when we commit the code, so that we can make it better. We'll be grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I need to drop right now, so sorry about this. So see you all later. Bye.
Thank you very much.
So,
Okay.
Thanks.
I don't think there's anything else. So, unless
Yeah.
anybody has any other topics, we can all drop.
This is kind of exciting though. This is one
Yeah.
of the biggest holes in Karifi that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another hole that we are targeting around user management. I don't know if that's going to be of any interest to you, but yeah, we have some prototype code about like integrating the UA. We've talked about this in the past. Maybe now that we're over with the explore part of this, we'll be concentrating on users. I remember that there was some guy asking about this. Basically, I think the use case was, do I really need to give the kubectl to the users of the Karifi API? And we said, well, for now, yes, but maybe not really in the future. So that's also a concern for us at SAP. And yeah, one interesting thing about supporting the UAA is that you don't really need the patch CLI. You can probably use older versions because it behaves a little bit like normal CF. Although it has some unexplored yet implications, like what do you do with global scope tokens for admin and stuff like that. Maybe we need to reconcile the UA state back into RBAC, and who knows if that will work and how. So yeah, that's just another hole that we plan on experimenting with and exploring.
Yeah. I'm less excited about having UAA running.
Yeah, I can imagine that. It's just that
yeah, it's like
we are
some
targeting
ancient version of Spring, right?
yeah, but services, I think services is definitely valuable for everyone. And yeah, we had this cross-plane thread where I want to stress that we're not against bringing cross-plane behind all this. We just wanted to cut the scope a little bit for now, because cross-plane definitely introduces complexity, but I can see how it also introduces a new space. And I think there's actually someone posted this on the open source Slack. There is the broker. There is an adapter that's an OSBAP broker that can talk crossplane. So I guess once we have contributed this, once this works, I think we might just get the rest for free if we're lucky. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely something worth trying. That'll be interesting. Alrighty. Well, anything else? Going once, going twice? All right. Thank you all. Appreciate it. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.